Hello, my name is Kendall. Welcome back to another video, and if you're new here, hello, my name is Kendall. Today I will be talking about the Legend of Mikoshi. This is episode 2 of my Japanese folklore and legends series, so if you're interested in seeing more videos like this, please consider subscribing. And without any further introduction, let's begin. The translation of this folklore's name means anticipating priest. The legend of Mikoshi was created around 3,000 years ago. And after listening to this, you may never want to walk around alone at night ever again. Now, I couldn't find a story form of this legend slash folklore, so I did make it myself, so keep that in mind as I'm reading this. I did take the information about this folklore and make it into a story, so it's still accurate. This is the legend of Mikoshi, and this is how it goes. There was once a man who moved to a new town. He hadn't been there for a long time and was just getting settled in, and hadn't made many friends yet. One evening, he decided to walk to the store to get some necessities. The sun was setting, but he thought it wouldn't take too long. On his way back home, the sun fell behind the mountains as it got darker and darker, and the streetlights came on. He wasn't scared, but decided to pick up his pace. He kept on, and his walk went smoothly, and he could see his home right up the hill just across the bridge. But then, that's when he felt something. It wasn't a touch, it wasn't a noise, it was more so of a presence. He glanced back and looked down, and that's when he saw a pair of shoes. He raised his gaze to meet the eyes of a monk. He was relieved, but quickly that relief was completely gone. Within seconds, the monk's neck grew to an immense height, as tall as the man could see. His quick movement caused him to look so high and so fast that he lost his balance and tumbled backwards. That's when the Mikoshi lunged forward and bit his neck. Truthfully speaking, I'm trying to imagine myself in that position, but it makes me thoroughly uncomfortable, and I think you understand why. But never want to imagine myself going through that. In a second, I will be talking about how we can actually escape this thing, because there's very few ways. But first, I will be telling you a little bit more about their appearance. These Mikoshi typically look like priests or monks. Nothing about them is really out of the blue. They're not abnormally tall. They don't have disfigured body proportions. Their arms aren't too long. Their legs aren't too long. None of that's really going on. But when they change, they change. As you already know, their neck gets extremely long, but as that happens, their fingernails become like talons almost, like they become super long, pointy. Their hair also changes a lot, where it becomes more maned and like untamed. Their hair becomes very untamed and very wild. I've also heard that when their neck grows, they get like weird like lumps and like disfigurements in their neck as well, which makes it kind of gross looking. Now, getting on to escaping. I came up with a couple ideas on how to escape them, and some of them might work and some of them might not. If you come up with any ideas on how to escape this thing, or you already have some ideas, please leave them in the comments below so I can read those, because I would like to see what you come up with. But my first thing that I thought of when reading this was to keep walking. Don't look back, don't acknowledge it, completely ignore it, don't say anything, nothing. Like, just pretend that you're completely fine and like there's nothing behind you. Now, like I said, not all of these are gonna work, so this is actually one of them that will not work, and I will tell you why later. Number 2, fight him. I think to myself, okay, if I can't run and I can't hide, then the only other option is to fight. I don't know how well that would work necessarily, because I'm pretty sure these creatures are very, very strong. But my thought is, especially if you have something like some weapon to defend yourself, then I'm thinking possibly get it. Especially like while its neck is growing, it's kind of distracted up here, right? It's more focused on growing its neck. So maybe you can take advantage of that time and just like right at the neck, right there, you know, cut it, or maybe just cut it off at the stump. I don't know. That's my thought. I don't know if that would work, but I think there's a chance. Now, here's my last one. I am the most confident in this one. Scream. I really have a lot of confidence in this. Let me tell you why. He only appears to lone travelers. That's like the consistent thing in all the legends and all the, folklore stories and everything, that he only comes to people who are alone. So if you scream at the top of your lungs, people are going to hear you, unless you're in the middle of nowhere, which I don't know why you'd be in the middle of nowhere, but people will hear you. And then if someone like looks through their window or comes outside, since he only appears to people who are alone, my thought is that he might disappear if someone new comes onto the scene. Like if someone walks out their house or sees him. In my head, I'm thinking maybe he can only be seen by one person at a time. Or also, in a lot of the stories, nobody ever makes it out alive, right? So I think it could be because he doesn't want people to see him and be able to like expose him to the masses, or like go around talking about what happened, right? So if there's more than one person who sees him, then I'm thinking that he might disappear to protect himself. Or maybe it's just a rule where like they can only show themselves to one person at a time. That's my idea right there. Now here are the actual things that you cannot do based on the folklore. One is ignore him. Yes, my very first guess was absolutely wrong. You cannot do that. That's not gonna work. What will happen if you do so is that he will literally crush you or pierce you with a bamboo. So not a good idea. Don't do that. And that also includes if you try to like run away from him, not just ignore them, but if you also try to run away from him, that same thing will happen. So also don't do that either. Next is just staring at him. If you just stare at him like, that's as well not gonna work. The person will literally just drop like that and pass away if they try to stand there and just stare at him in his eyes. But there is hope. Here is how you can actually defeat him. First step, turn around and meet his eyes. Okay, this is a very important part, and I will tell you why in a second. But when you turn around, make sure you turn around and you look at him straight in his eyes. Next, you want to look specifically from up to his eyes, from his head, and then look all the way down to his feet, and then you can look back up. Do not do it the other way around. This is why I said you gotta look at him straight in the eye. Because if you look down and then look up, you're gone. You're done. You're cooked. So you have to do it in this order specifically. Then after you do this and you look him back in his eyes, you have to say this: you lost, I anticipated your trick. This is supposed to zap his power or like his energy. I think it's his power. It's supposed to zap his power. And he is then supposed to disappear and completely leave you alone, completely unharmed. If I was in that situation, trust and believe I would have not done that at all. So good information to know, because I would have ran. If you have any extra information that you know about this folklore, please consider leaving it down below, because I would like to read it and share it with the rest of us. And that concludes today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Please consider subscribing if you do want to see more content like this, and I will be here waiting for you in my next video. But for now, I will see you in the next one. Bye!